Man, I can't believe I've been sleeping on this game. Yeah, I know. I can't believe I've been doing it too. But guys, today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Legos. Now, even though this game has been out since about April of 2022, yes, that is some time for this game to be out. But here's the thing, especially if you are a Star Wars fan, Legos fan, and you have a Nintendo Switch or even a Switch 2, this still might be an awesome game to get into. And especially, like I just said, if you like Legos and Star Wars and just the humor of it. But here's the thing, I'm not going to be doing too much of a review because there are so many good videos out there that talk about how awesome this game is, but I'm probably going to be talking about how awesome this game is. But the thing is, it is absolutely the humor behind it, the aesthetics of just being in a Lego environment, especially into the Star Wars universe or world, and it's showcasing its moments that the main characters that you come across, from Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Chewie, R2D2, CP3PO, all those characters. It is absolutely crazy, and it's so much fun to be playing the Legos games. And there's just so many good Lego games out there for the Switch. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Thank you for watching this video all the way through. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, as promised here, let's get into the discussion talking about some Lego games, and especially if you're playing on the Nintendo Switch or even the Switch 2. And also, like I mentioned, if you are a Lego fan and a Star Wars fan, this might be a good starting point to play a Lego game here if you are that Star Wars fan, or simply just like having fun and just really a game for every kind of casual player. Open world, exploration, a little combat, a little action, a little sci-fi. You know how Star Wars goes. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So, is Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga, is it worth playing as your first Lego game? I say yes. Ultimately, I've played a lot of games over the years, but somehow I never really gotten into the Lego games. I know. Why have I taken so long per se to actually play a full Legos game and continue playing and looking at some of the backlogs for Lego games? There's just so many good games out there, but hey, I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. But for anybody who is simply getting into it, like if you are getting your first Switch or looking for something a little bit different and seeing about it but not too sure, yes, I definitely have to say the Legos games overall, absolutely a good starting point. They always got some good sales going on into the eShop here. Definitely take a look at it, because currently when I got this particular version for the Nintendo Switch 2, it was like around $11. Cannot beat that, even though the game has been out for quite some time. So I think since April of 2022. Yes, April of 2022, and I know we're in 2026, so it is a little bit of an older game, but so far it has been an absolute blast. And as you see, now I am playing the Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga for the Nintendo Switch 2. And as someone who already likes Star Wars, I figured this would probably be one of the best Lego games to me to finally jump into around the Star Wars like atmosphere and environment. Now, after spending some time with it, I get it now. I understand why people like these games so much. Now, this is Star Wars, but it doesn't take itself so seriously how we see, Star Wars in the cinema. The first thing that got me was this, and then this is what I noticed too with some other Lego games, is the actual humor. Which to me, I find that funny, because sometimes, we may be too serious and too locked in when we're playing a game that sometimes we don't catch the characters or the voice actors of these games that may be funny or whatnot. But the Star Wars and game of, in Legos here is absolutely hilarious. But just in general, the Lego games humor is funny. So if you are a Star Wars fan, you're going to recognize these characters, these locations, these battles, and famous moments immediately. You get Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, absolutely. I wish they had, Darth Maul more in here, but hey, to each their own. Obi-Wan, you got Han, you got Han Solo there, always, Leia, and everybody's here. There's a lot of great characters you're going to come across and see, but this isn't trying to give you another super serious version of Star Wars overall, like I was just mentioning, right? It's basically Star Wars saying, what if we take all the legendary moments and made everybody into a Lego character? I mean, who doesn't like that? That's freaking cool. Gotta love it. And it works. You know what I'm saying? It works. So you'll have these scenes that are already known from the movies, but then the game throws you some ridiculously Lego jokes into the middle of it. And if you pay attention to some of the games, you get a little funny cutscenes with the way the characters actually act and respond to certain like convos and dialogue. It's pretty funny actually. You can't beat it. So that's what I feel like is a great little charm to the Lego series overall. It's really easy to get into, and it's really kind of for any really gamer that has any kind of like love for the game itself, for Legos in general. This is probably the biggest thing I notice as somebody who's new to Lego games overall. It is easy to pick up. You know, there are some things once you get used to what to do, like how to build. You can build little things out there in the environments when you're out there, which is nice, which is very cool. You get the chance to do that. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. Like, it's easy to pick up. It's just that you get a lot of movement around it. You get a lot of mechanics, but at the same time, it just kind of all comes together. There are puzzles you got to do and things that you got to solve and kind of put your thinking cap on and kind of figure out, okay, what do I do here and here and here when you're playing this game? But it makes all sense. It's just real easy to do. Sometimes you don't want to spend your first 2 hours learning 15 different system skills and skill trees and combat mechanics, what I was just saying, that there are a little bit of mechanics to it, but it just flows real nice. Sometimes you just want to grab a controller and enjoy it and play the game. Am I right? That's what this game gives me. Now, the combat is simple enough to understand quickly. You've got, like I was just saying, you got puzzles to solve, things to collect, characters to unlock, and environments to explore. And that's one thing I find really cool, is because it's not like a one track, like you don't got to go to market A, B, and C kind of thing. No, they gives you options to explore. There are side missions you get to do and get involved with too as well, to progress either the story mainline to it too, or just be able to explore and unlock different things. And which is very cool, even though this game's been out for a while, that you're able to come back and have some game replayability, which I absolutely love, especially for spending the money into games. You know what I'm saying? And which is really cool. Like I was just saying, you get to explore these environments, and you're constantly smashing Lego pieces. Everything, just about everything in this particular game, you can just break apart and rebuild, and it's just really, really cool. So yeah, I didn't realize destroying everything around me would be absolutely satisfying when you see the bricks break apart and you get the chance to rebuild it. But it's cool. You walk into a room and immediately start thinking, can I break that? Probably. You absolutely probably can. But character selection, right? So you're playing as Luke Skywalker is just fun. And then, like I said, there's, you got Luke, right? Luke's everything, the OG. If you're a Star Wars fan, getting actually to chance to play through Luke Skywalker's story in Lego form is actually a super cool experience to do. So you're not just watching these iconic moments again, you're playing through them, but in a Lego format and environment. It's just really, really funny. So yeah, you're exploring these locations, you're fighting enemies, solving puzzles, and watching the game put its own goofy Lego spin on scenes that you probably have been seen a dozen times, but it's just the Lego format. Always gets me. So yeah, that's where I think that this game works so well. It's familiar, but it still feels different. Yeah, there's a lot here. There's definitely a lot to go through into the game itself, which I may not be able to touch base on, such as, you can upgrade, you got the skill trees, what to do for each droid you interact, and characters, customizations. There's DLC for this game because, like I said, it's been out for some time. But something else that surprised me, just how much content is packed into this game. So that's what surprises me about this Lego game. Just like I said, so you're getting stories and covering all 9 main Star Wars movies. That's crazy when you actually think about it. And then you've got tons of characters to unlock, different planets and areas to explore, collectibles to find, side activities, and secrets everywhere. Coming back to where I'm saying about the whole replayability to this particular game, or just like in the Lego games, that you just get that replayability to come back and play as a different character, kind of go down a certain path, which is super cool. So if you're somebody who likes, completing games and finding everything, I can already see that becoming dangerous because you could do everything. Because every time I see something I haven't collected, I'm like, all right, can I grab this one thing and move on? 20 minutes later, I'm still there because you get a chance to explore. And that's what I love about this game, the exploration part of it, and coming back and playing as different characters. It's also great change of pace, especially if you're just a casual player or looking to just kind of bring it in a little bit and just kind of have a goofy moment when you play a game. Yeah, this is probably going to be a good selection to pick from, or add into your playlist, or your game list or your wish list, whatever you want to do it. This might actually be one of the favorite things about playing it. Not every game needs to be stressful, am I right? Not every game needs to have a crazy difficulty and stress you out, especially if you have a long day. Sometimes I just want to, something where where I can just sit down, play for an hour, and just have fun, that's exactly where Lego Star Wars fits me. And probably for you, if you're watching this video looking for Lego games or Star Wars games, stuff like that, casual player, this is it. Especially on the Nintendo Switch too, having a game like this on the Nintendo system just feels right because it's just something I can pick up, go on the go, and play for a while and come back whenever I want. It feels like a great game to have between those bigger games that might take 50, 80, or 100 hours to finish. And if you do play those type of games or are still playing a game, drop me in the comments like what game are you playing that you have vested that many hours. You know who you are. So should this be your first Lego game? If you're like me, a casual player, loves to have fun and just play something where you're not always going so crazy for other games, but again, come back to something that's just really goofy and fun, then yeah, you really are going to be wanting to play Lego games or even picking up the Star Wars games. I actually think Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga is a really good place to start, especially if you're already like Star Wars. You don't need to know anything about the Lego games or even maybe a full thing about like, Star Wars overall. You don't have to be amazing at action games and definitely don't need to be taking it so seriously. So that's the kind of the point about this game is you just go in there and just, there's really no real direction. I mean, except finding obviously your objectives, but just going in there and just finding what the next thing leads you to. So yeah, that's probably going to be an awesome way to go into a particular game like this. So you're getting Star Wars explorations, like I was just saying, you just get a lot of cool things with it. So like the collectibles, simple combat, you get the puzzles, which are not hard at all. It just takes a moment to think. I'm like, oh wow, that was easy. Can't believe that. Simple puzzles and a lot of goofy humor overall wrapped into one game. And that's probably what sells me the most on Lego games here is the actual humor. I love it. I think it's so funny. And sometimes it's exactly, what I'm looking for, a game just like that. Simple fun, So if you got a Nintendo Switch or the Switch 2 and you're looking for something different to play, and especially, again, if you are a Star Wars fan or getting into the whole Star Wars universe, don't overlook Star Wars, the Lego Star Wars game here. I did for a long time. I can't believe it. And stay tuned for my next Lego gameplay review of the next upcoming Lego game coming release. Hint, he's in the DC universe. If you know, you know. Let me know in the comments if you're at this point. And now I'm sitting here wondering why it took me so long to finally play one. But now I want to hear from you. What do you guys think about the Lego games? If you played Lego Star Wars, what do you think? And if you're a longtime Lego gamer, what Lego game should somebody like me play next? Like what game Lego series you like to drop in the comments, But again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you hit that sub button. Until the next video, stay tuned, stay up to date with me. Leave me some love in the comments here about games like this and any Switch games. But until then, guys, see you next time.
It's not over yet.